All right, today we are going to be talking about EC2 Linux. We are going to be creating the EC2 Linux. In our last class, we created the EC2 Windows machine. This time we are going to be creating EC2 Linux machine. What is the difference between the two? The difference is in their type of operating systems. We know operating systems have different types. We have the Linux operating system, we have the Mac operating system, and then we have the Windows operating system. Now, inside the Linux operating system, we are going to have different types of or different flavors of Linux. We are going to have different flavors of the Linux operating system. So today we are going to create an EC2 machine which runs on AWS Linux and Ubuntu. Ubuntu is also a Linux based operating system. So there are several types of Linux based operating system. I think there is Ubuntu, there is Red Hat, there is Debian. All those are Linux based operating systems. So today we'll be creating an EC2 machine of the Linux based operating system. So without much literature behind the Linux based operating system, let us hit directly to our console. Let us go to our AWS console and see what we can do there. All right, I am in the AWS console. We want to create a Linux EC2 computer. How shall we proceed? We proceed like we did before. We go to launch instances. We'll come to launch instances. We give the name of our operating system of our machine that we want to create. Let us give AWS training Linux. That's the name of our machine. AWS training Linux. So right now, instead of taking Windows, we are going to take Amazon Linux. So we choose the first option, Amazon Linux. Here you can select your kernel version. We have different types of the kernel version. So we'll go for the free one, which is Amazon Linux 2023 AMI. Go for the free kernel version. And then we come down to our instance type. We discuss much about instance type when we are creating the Windows machine. So for instance type, we are going to select T2 Micro. It is a free tier. We select T2 Micro. In our last class, we created a key. We created a key pair. So instead of creating a new key pair, let us use the key pair that we created. We created a key pair. So let us use the key pair that we created. The key pair name that we created was AWS Training 1000 Batch. That is the key pair that we created. That is the key pair that we are using right now. So with respect to our security group, we are going to create the security group with the key port SSH. We are going to allow the SSH traffic from anywhere in the internet. Okay, we are going to create our security group with the SSH key port, but let us choose an existing security group, because an existing security group will already have our SSH key open. We choose our existing security group. Now here you can discover that we have an 8 GB of hard drive pre-selected for us. But when we were creating the machine for Windows, we discovered that here we had 32 gigabyte of hard drive, but with the Linux they are giving us but 8 gigabyte of hard drive. What is the difference between a Linux based operating system and a Windows based operating system? You will discover that the Linux based operating system does not take a lot of space, but the Windows based operating system takes a huge part of the hard drive. Why is it like that? Because the Windows based operating system is a graphic user operating system, which means it uses graphics, while the Linux based operating system is a command based operating system. You just give commands. You don't see bright colors, text, you don't see shining graphics, you don't see all that, but they happen with the Windows based operating system. So at this particular moment, here is your summary of what you are creating. On your right, you have the software image, the virtual server T2 micro, the firewall, that is the security group, and then the storage device. When you check all these things here and they are okay, you can launch your instance. So we launch our EC2 instance. The moment our EC2 instance succeeds, we go back to our instances. This is the new EC2 instance that we have just created. Here is it down here. Now, we will be struggling to log into our EC2 instance. When it came to Windows, we logged in to our EC2 instance using a remote desktop connection with Windows 10. We logged in using remote desktop connection. Now, this is not more a Windows computer that we have created. It is now a Linux computer. Question is, how are we going to log into our Linux computer? How are we going to log into our Linux computer? There are two ways by which you can log into your remote computer. There are two ways by which you can log in. The first way is by using a third-party application called Putty. There are actually two of them. We have Putty and we have Puttigen. Look up here, please. Let us go over to the internet and search for the third-party application. You go to Google, you look for Putty. That is Putty. Putty. You take the first option. We have download Putty, a free SSH and Telnet client for Windows. You download Putty. So here is Putty for you to download. So you click on download here. Putty is going to download automatically. It is not an installable software. Putty is not an installable software. It is a software that you just need to click on it and it auto executes. Okay, so here you take for me, I'm using the 64-bit operating system of Putty. I'm using the 64-bit operating system. So in that case, I can take the first one, Putty exe. If I click on Putty exe here, you see the file will start downloading. This is the file, Putty exe. I decide where it is going to download. I'm sure you know how to manipulate your Windows operating system. You should already know by now how to manipulate it very well. So this is updated Putty, updated, because there is another Putty there, so I want to just put this one as Putty updated. I click save and start download. It is not a very heavy file, so it downloads very fast. So we have downloaded Putty. Let me open the folder where Putty is located. So this is the software that we have downloaded, Putty updated. We are also going to download the second software, PuttyGen. So the first one was Putty, the second one is PuttyGen. All of them are located here. This is the first one here. You saw the address how I entered there, and then the second one is PuttyGen. That's the Putty generator. We are going to see what PuttyGen is being used for. Okay, so let's this is PuttyGen down here, Putty generator. I'm taking the option for 64-bit operating system. So it starts downloading to, I decide where it goes. My Putty is being downloaded. My PuttyGen, please, is being downloaded. So in order to log on to your Linux machine, there are two different methods. We have the first method is we are going to use git bash, and the second method is we are going to use Putty and PuttyGen. Those are the two ways by which you can log into your into your Linux machine, into your remote Linux machine. As for Windows, we did say that we use remote desktop location to log in. So let's open our folder. So these are the two operating systems, these are the two apps that we need to use in order to log into our system. We have Putty and then we have PuttyGen, right? How do we use these two systems? Now we have created our machine. Our machine is running. Our AWS training Linux machine is already running. We want to log into that machine. We want to enter that machine. We go to our file where we downloaded Putty. I kept it here. I open Putty. I first open PuttyGen. That's the first file I open. PuttyGen. Now, the reason why I open PuttyGen is because the Linux-based operating system does not use the key pair in the form of PEM. It doesn't use the key pair in the form of PEM. It uses the key pair in the form of PPK. It uses the key pair in the form of PPK. Let me show you something here. When we were creating the key pair, there were two options. Either you create the key pair. Declan, can you please mute? Declan, can you please mute your mic?
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's better. So, as I was saying, the key pair that we are using is a key pair that is in the form of PEM. If you can see, we have AWS training 1000 bash PEM. Is that actually the key pair we are using? Let us see the key pair that we are using here. If you want to see the key pair that you are using, you come down here. You will see your key pair. This is a key pair. Our key pair is AWS training 1000 batch. So we have the key pair here, AWS training 1000 batch. But the key pair is in the form of PEM. It is in the form of PEM. Now, for Linux-based operating system, we do not use key pairs in the form of PEM. We use them when they are being converted to the form PPK. All right. So we are going to use PuttyGen in order to convert our PEM key pair to our PPK format. So let's launch PuttyGen. This is the application that we are going to use, PuttyGen. Let's launch PuttyGen. When we launch PuttyGen now, what do? We load our key pair. You go to load. When you go to load, now you change from this PPK. If you don't change this PuTTY private key file ppk. You have to change it from ppk to all files. If you don't change it to all files, you will not see your PEM file. So you come now, you navigate to where you stored your PEM file. I stored mine under this AWS folder. Here is it. AWS training 1000 bash.pem. That's the key pair I have. So I am clicking it now, opening it. When I open it, it loads. When it loads here, I then click on generate. When I click on generate, it is going to generate a key pair in the form of ppk. Okay, it is going to generate the pk in the key pair in the form of ppk, and then I will save it. So wait for it to finish. So once it gets finished, you are going to save as private key. Okay, you are going to save private key. Are you sure you want to save? Yes. Now, how do you want to save it? Give the same name of the key pair that you had, the same name. In our case, we had what? We had AWS. Our key pair was AWS training bash 1000. So you give the same name, please. AWS training 1000 bash, but you remove the PEM now. You will see now but .ppk that will appear. Okay, now you save. Where do you save? Save in the same location so that the two key pairs should be there present. So I'm saving at the same location at my AWS keys. I save. Now I can exit this one. Let's go to our AWS keys and see what is being created there. Look at what is created there. You can see now AWS training 1000 bash, but you see now but .ppk. This is the initial one that we had, .pem. We have converted this .pem to .ppk using what? Using PuTTY. That's the first job that you need to do. Then the second job now that you need to do is you need to use PuTTY now in order to connect to your remote desktop, to your virtual machine. I launch PuTTY. What I need to put here, I need to put my public IP address. I copy my public IP address. I paste here. Then I come down to SSH. I come down to auth. That is authentication. I open it down. Credentials. I take on credentials. And then you see here private key file for authentication. Come up here, private key file for authentication. Then you browse. Now you see your key pair that you had. You can browse to where your key pair was located. You click on your key pair and you click open. Now open. I am already trying to log into my EC2 instance. Accept. Log in as the general administrator name. Like in Windows, we had administrator. For Linux, we have EC2-user. When you click EC2-user, enter. Server refused our key. That means our key pair is not the right one. So we need to generate a different key pair. So we have to first of all come here Server is trying to refuse our key. You will face a lot of these problems all the times. Please, you can generate a key and the key does not come out well at times. So I go back to my puttygen. I click load. I change this one to all files. My batch, open, okay, save key, yes. I save as AWS, delete my PEM, I save. All right, I've converted it now. Let me try to see whether server will accept my key pair now. I'm trying to log in again through putty. I copy my public IP address. I paste here, and then I come down to authentication. I click open it. I click on credentials, private key. I have my PPK, open. Let's try EC2-user. We are able to log in now to our Windows, to our Linux machine. Guys, here is our Linux machine. When you are here now, you are logged into your Linux machine. You see the difference between Linux and Windows. This is how you log into your Linux machine, right? When you log in and you see this screen, you have successfully logged into your Linux machine. Is there anybody with any question before I continue? Any question? Okay, seemingly all of us are very much understanding. Please, if you have a question, you unmute yourself, then you talk.
Uh, can you get me?
Yeah, I can get you.
I don't have a worry. I had network problems, so
Okay. Yes, Declan, are you on? Can you get me?
I'll just follow. Can you get me now?
Yes, you are on.
Hello. Yes, what I'm saying is that I came late due to network problems, so I'll only follow up to the end. Then tomorrow I'll be waiting for the video to be uploaded, so I can start from the beginning.
All right, you haven't missed much. You haven't missed much. You just missed the introduction. So you watch the videos, you pick up pretty
Yes,
well.
probably. Okay, thank you.
All right, let's continue. So we have created a Linux-based computer. When you see this screen, that means you have already created your Linux computer and you have logged into your computer. So using PuttyGen and using Putty are two are the first ways of logging into your Linux-based operating system. The second way is by using an operating system or an application called Git Bash. Git Bash is another application that you can use in logging into your Linux-based operating system. What you do is you just go online, you go to Google, we just go to Google and we search for Git Bash. So you see Git download. Okay, you download from Git. It is a source code management system. When we come to DevOps, you really understand what a source code management system is, what it's all about. So you come here, when you click on Git Bash, you take the first one for the source code management system, and then you certainly download for Windows, because nearly all of us, we are having Windows operating system. Our computers are Windows operating system. So you click on Windows. I have 64-bit. Nearly all of you should be having 64-bit operating system by now, because I believe 64-bit operating system is the most stable one. So when you click on 64-bit operating system, you'll discover that the operating system starts downloading. It is around 51.30 megabyte. I already have it downloaded in my computer. So when I click download, it will start downloading. Now I need to look at where it was downloaded. Let me check where it was downloaded. I go to my downloads. It certainly should be downloaded in programs. So I should see, I must have taken it from somewhere and kept somewhere. All right, for the sake of clarity, let me download it and we run the installation. So I take a 64 operating bit operating system. I believe you should know the difference between uh, a 64-bit operating system and a 32-bit operating system. You should be capable to know the difference between the two. I don't know why the thing is getting too long. It is showing here that it's going to take almost close to a number of minutes, so we cannot wait for that. So when you download the third party app and install in your computer, we just pause it. When you download a third party app, it's just a normal app that you download and then you click install and it would install. When you install the application in your computer, the next time now, when you right click inside your computer, when you right click anywhere, you will see this. You will see these two things here: Git graphic user interface here and Git bash here, right? When you see these two options here, that means you have succeeded in installing Git bash. Okay, now how do we enter our Linux based operating system using Git bash? This is how we do. You come to your computer, you click on connect here. You first of all select your computer here, you click on connect here, and then you come to SSH client, and then you click on this SSH DNS. You click this one, you copy this one from here, and then you come to where you stored your key pair. This is where I stored my key pair. This is a key pair here. So this is where I stored my key pair. You right click now inside the place where you stored your key pair. If you stored your key pair in desktop, you go and right click in desktop. If you store your key pair in any folder, you then go to that folder, you right click. When you right click where you stored your key pair, and then you come to Git bash here, that means you should open Git bash from this location. That means Git bash will be open now from this location where you are found. So I come now to Git bash here. Now Git bash opens. It is still trying to open. It is trying to track my location where I am. That's why it takes some time to come on, because it is searching for the location where I am asking it to open from there. The moment it opens, it will tell you now that it is in that particular location. Having for some internet low internet access. Let's just wait for git bash to come in, please. It's taking long. Git bash here. Our git bash is taking so much time more than usual. Okay, while we wait for our git bash to get open, so that I show you how you can gain access to your EC2. Let me check my internet line, which is very okay. All right, git bash now is functioning very well. I don't know why it was delaying to come on. So you discover that git bash now says that it is pointing at the folder where your AWS keys are, right? The moment git bash comes like this, it is pointing now at the folder where your AWS keys are found. So the only thing you need to do now is you copy this SSH. Remember how to reach here. We were first formally here. We first of all select our EC2 instance. We go to connect, and then we are here, we select SSH, and then we come and copy this SSH DNS. When we copy this SSH DNS, we paste here. When you paste here, you click on enter. When you click on enter, normally you are supposed to get logged in. But our systems are a bit slow tonight. Okay, are you sure you want to continue connecting? Yes or no? You say yes. Click enter. You have connected to your Linux machine. So we have used git bash to connect to our EC2 machine, and we have also used putty to connect to our EC2 machine. So we have used two different options to be able to connect to our EC2 machines. So that is how you connect to your EC2 machines. I mean, the notes are very clear, and please make sure you watch the videos again over and over again, okay? And then you practice over and over again. This issue is all about practicing. It is all practicing. If you do not practice, you are not going to retain anything. It is all about practicing, okay? All right, right now we are in our Linux machine. We are in our Linux machine. So being inside our Linux machine, what can we do inside our Linux machine? The cloud, especially AWS, is based on the Linux-based operating system. So you cannot study the cloud without mastering Linux administration. It is impossible for you to study the cloud without mastering Linux administration. Everything you are going to be doing, you are going to be doing under the Linux based operating system. Either you are going to be doing with Ubuntu, or you are going to be doing it with Red Hat, Debian, or whatsoever. You are going to be doing it with Linux based operating systems. Okay, so what are we going to do here? Let us enter now Linux administration. We are going into Linux administration. So inside Linux administration, what can we do? Can we create a file inside a Linux machine? Let's see. This is a computer that we just created. It's a new computer. How do we create files inside a Linux based machine? How can you create a file, right? In order to create a file, please, there are two commands to be launched. You need to run commands. Everything about Linux is running of commands. So this is where we are going to be running the command. It is called a terminal, and the results are going to be displayed to us immediately under here. So the first command we want to run is we want to create a file, and there are two commands that are used to create files. The first one is the cat command, and the second one is the touch command. Let us begin with the cat command. If I want to create a file called school, I want to create this file called school, I just run cat and then I write school. I press enter. No such directory found. Okay, here please, in order to be very safe, let us move to the super user. Now, in Linux, there are two user interface. We have the root user, and then we have the main user. The super user is the one that has all the privileges of creating files and deleting the files and all the like, right? So let us first of all update our system. In order to update our system, we switch to super user. How do we switch to super user? You say sudo su hyphen. When you run the command sudo su hyphen enter, now what do you see? You discover that here we were having a dollar sign. A dollar sign is just for a normal user, and then when we click on sudo su hyphen, it changes from a dollar sign to a hash sign. The hash sign now tells us that we are now in super user. You are now in super user. Being in super user, the first thing that you will always do when you create your computer is to update its repositories. Repositories are places where commands are stored, right? Repositories are directories. They are folders where commands are stored. All these commands like this, they are special commands that have been built in the Linux operating system. So some commands needs to be downloaded. So when you say you are updating your repositories, you are trying to download some commands. Okay. So how do you update your repositories? You run the command sudo yum update. Sudo yum update. Now, if you just run sudo yum update, they will ask you whether you want to update your repository, and then you will click yes. But to skip that part of clicking yes, you just put hyphen y. So you run sudo yum update hyphen y. It is going to update your files. Now, if it doesn't update your files, then there is no new update. Like here, they say last metadata expiration check. Everything is okay. System is up to date, right? Now, we want to run a command of creating our file. We can run our cat command, cat school. Our cat command is not functioning here. Okay, we run the touch command. touch school. Okay, our touch command is functioning correctly. When we run the touch command, it has created the file school. How do we see that it has created this file school? How do we know that the file school has been created? We run the command ls. ls is going to show us all the files that are found in our computer. You run ls, enter. If you run this ls and press enter, I think you see the file school that has been created here. This is the file school, right? We have our file school that has been created. Now, we have created the file, we have created a file which is school. Next thing, how do we create a directory? There's a difference between creating a file and creating a directory. In Windows, what do we call a file? These are files. All these files are found inside a folder. This is a folder, right? In Linux, this folder is called a directory. And when you open a directory, you see files inside. So what we have just created is a file. Now, how can we create a directory? How should we create a directory? With creating a file, we use touch command. Now with creating a directory, we are going to use mkdir. That's the command that we are going to use. Let's say we want to create a directory called house. We're creating a directory where we are going to be keeping our house files. We run mkdir house, right? When we run mkdir house, we go enter. Now our mkdir house is created, the repository house is created, the directory house is created. So I run ls. I can now see house and school. Now school is a file while house is a directory. The difference between a file and a directory is that what? A directory has a sky blue color while a file does not have a color. You can see the difference there. The directory is having a sky blue color while a file is not having that sky blue color. Okay, so we have created a file, a directory. How can we create a file inside that directory that we have just created? That means we need to know how to move into this directory. Okay, we need to know how we can move into this directory. How can you move from where you are into this directory? Before moving to this directory, first of all, where are you? You have to know where you are. So in order to know your present location, you run the command pwd. Pwd means it is not Public Works Department or the PWD First Division Club that you know here. It is not that one. PWD means Public Work Department with our first division here, Public Works Department. But with Linux, it is Print Working Directory. When you click on run pwd is Print Working Directory. If I run this one, you see that the working directory where I am located is the root. I am located in the root user. Okay, I'm located at the level of the root user. Now I want to move into the repository or into the directory house. I created this directory house. I want to move into that directory. The way that I can move into that directory is by running the command cd. When I run cd and then I write house, cd house. What is cd? What is the meaning of cd? Cd means change directory. I want to change my directory to house, right? I'm changing directory to house. I click enter. Now What shows that I have changed my directory to house? Now you can see that in my root I have something like house here. Now I am located inside the house directory. Okay, I am located inside the house directory. What shows that I am located inside the house directory? When we were inside our normal directory, we ran ls and we saw the house directory and the school file that we created. Let us run ls again. You will discover that you will not see anything. Why are you not seeing anything? Because I am inside the house directory, and inside the house directory there is no file. Let me try to create a file inside this directory. Let me try to create a file inside this directory. My cat command is not yet functioning. Okay, let me use the touch command. Touch. I want to create a file called test. I'm creating a file called test. How do I create a file called test? I run the command touch test. When I run touch test, that means I am inside the directory house. I am running the command touch, which means create me a file, and the name of that file that they are going to create is called test. Okay, so I run this command. That file has been created. How do I know the file has been created? I run the command ls. Now I can see the test file that I have just created. Okay, that is how you can create files and folders, right? Now you can also create directories inside other directories. It is but normal. That is doable. For example, in Windows, what do we have? Inside, like for example, I have inside this my hard drive M, I have videos. Videos in Linux is an example of a directory. If I open videos, I have the different types of videos. I mean, if I open Afrobeats, I will see some videos. Let's take the ones that have so many directories. I open videos. I come to let's say gospel musics. I open inside gospel music. I have maybe carols, Christmas carols. Then I see my Christmas carols. How many steps did I take before I enter to see these files? I first of all opened my new volume. I went to videos up here. I went to gospel, and then I went to carols before I was able to see this. All this one is called the file path. That is the path you have to take in order to see your file. All right. In Linux also, we can do that. How should you do that? Let us create a path where we are going to create a file at the end of that path. That means we make dir, we create a directory called ministry. We create a directory called ministry, enter. That directory has been created. No, please, hold on, hold on. We are inside the directory house. Okay, so but I want us to go back to our home directory. How do you go back to your home directory? You just run cd, and you are back to your home directory. You discover that here now you are in your home directory. This house is no more there. You are now comfortably in your home directory. How should you start? By creating now your path. You create, you write make, you run make mkdir, then you write the name of your directory that you want to create. I want to create a directory called ministry. I run. That directory gets created. I press enter. That directory gets created. I press ls. I see the directory. That is a directory called ministry. Here is the directory here called ministry that I've just created. What should I do? I enter the directory that I've just created. Cd ministry. I run. Now I am inside the directory ministry. That is the proof that I am inside the directory ministry. Now in the directory ministry, I am going to create another directory cd called education. Education. I enter. Now ls, I can see my, excuse me, okay, mk, I am in the ministry directory. I'm going to create another directory called education, mkdir education. All right, enter. Okay, ls, I can see now that my education directory has been created. Here is it here. Now what do? I enter inside the education directory again, cd education. I am inside, I want to enter inside the education directory. I am there. Proof that I am there is this is education. Now inside my education directory now, I create another directory again, mkdir. This one now is university. University. Enter. I run ls. My university has been created. I enter inside my university, cd university. I enter. I can see that I am inside the university here, and then again I create another directory called school, cd mk dir school. Enter. ls, I can see my school. Now I enter inside my school again, cd school. Now inside school now, I am going to create now my file. Remember that all throughout we have been creating directories, right? Now I'm creating a file, touch. Now that is the command to create a file. Now what am I going to create? Which type of file am I going to create? Touch reports. These are the reports of the school. Touch reports. Enter. My file has been created. ls, that is my file created. Now here I am. How can I know the pathway to reach this report here? How should you reach this report? To know where you are, you run the command pwd, print working directory. Look at what we have created. We started from, we have our root file, which is always there, our root directory which is always there. We have created the ministry directory, we have created the education directory, we have created the university directory, we have created the school. And inside the school now, we have the file report. How should we interpret this? We interpret this by looking at the hierarchy of the files. We have the ministry that is in charge of education, right? The ministry that is in charge of education. And inside education, we have several different education types. We have vocational education, we have mainstream education, we have primary education, secondary education. So under education, we create another directory called university education. Now, inside university education, there are different colleges and schools. School of Mass Communication, like in the case of the University of Yaoundé 1. And inside that school now, we have reports. Now, inside the school, we might have report for first semester examination, right? You can have now that type of a file inside located here. But this is the directory of the file. Now, if I am here, I come out from all those files. I am here. I click CD. I am now at the home directory. When I click CD and run, I am at the home directory. Look at when you see here, you cannot see anything here. That shows that I am at the home directory. Now, being in the home directory, how will you ever see this file that you created called reports? Where is the file located? We know that the file is located inside, first of all, the file is located inside a directory called ministry. We first of all enter ministry, run ls to see that there is ministry there. So we change our working directory to ministry, and then we click enter. Inside ministry, we look whether there is another directory, ls. We'll see that there is another directory called education. So we change our working directory to education. We click enter. Inside education, we run ls. We see that there is another directory called university. Now, what do we do with the directory university? We change our working directory to university. And then we are in the university, we run ls again. We discover that there is another directory called school. We change our working directory to school. Now, inside school, we can now see our reports. This is your report that you created, right? This is your report that you created. So that is how, like in this case, in order to see my videos, I have to open video, I have to open gospel, I have to open carols before I ever see my files. That's the same thing that we have just done here. We have to open ministry, we have to open education, we have to open university, we have to open school before we can ever see the file report. Okay, that is called file navigation in Linux. File navigation in Linux. So I am expecting that in tomorrow's class, we are going to continue with how to create we are going to continue with the hierarchy of directories. Okay, transferring a file from one directory to another. We are going to continue from here. Transferring a file from one directory to another. So we have finished navigating within directories. I think you can navigate within directories, knowing your current directory, creating all those flavors of Linux based operating system. Here they are. We have AWS Linux, Ubuntu, Red Hat, SUSE Linux, Debian. These are all Linux based operating system. You want to see them, you come here where you have launch your instance. You are going to see most of all those Linux based operating systems where you need to choose the operating system that you want to create your computer with it. Okay, here we have application and operating system images. These are the images that you are going to be using in order to create your EC2 instance. And most of the images here, as concerns AWS, are mostly Linux based operating systems. Okay, so here we have, my internet is really a challenge this evening. I don't understand why. So we have AWS is a Linux base, Ubuntu is a Linux base, Red Hat is a Linux base, SUSE Linux, Debian, all of them are Linux based. So tomorrow we have seen what a directory is. The mother directory is the home directory. Okay. Then a directory or file path. This is a file path. This is an example of a file path. We started from ministry, we went to education, university, school, and finally we created a file called test, right? So that is a file path, and it is called, these are directories and this is a file. Okay, so this is how you can move directly. Instead of jumping from one to the other to the other to the other, you can just run this command cd and then you jump directly to school. Let's do it and you see. If I just click here, I am now, let me run cd. I am now in the home directory. If I want to just jump directly to the directory school where the file reports are located, I just run cd /ministry /education /university /school. I think that is the file hierarchy. All right. When I run this and then I click enter, you see directly I'm supposed to move directly to the file. I didn't move because my school directory is with small s, but I've written it with a big S. So I just copy everything and paste here. cd /ministry /education /university /school. Now here I have ministry, education, university, and school. I press enter. There is a problem with my spelling. Here is where Linux is a very big challenge. If you miss anything, you are not going to have your directory gone. So I have ministry, I have education, I have university, I have school. Okay, my last / is not supposed to be there. My change directory is not, my school is spelled wrongly. So those are the most challenges that you will always be facing. Please, if you write a wrong thing, just know that your command will never get executed. It is because of the challenge that I'm facing with the internet that the school was written wrongly. Instead of 1 1 2 0, I had a school with 3 O's. Still it doesn't go. Okay, I needed to close it. I have a school with double O. Now I close it. Now it moves. No, still it doesn't go. my university spelling, university, education, ministry. Okay, there was one thing I was forgetting. I'm supposed to start from my root. I'm supposed to start from root hyphen ministry cd /root ministry / university / education. No, education is before university. Yep. We have / education. Then we have university. Then we have school. Okay, let's try this and see whether it executes correctly. Voila, we got it right now. You see that from here, instead of jumping one after the other, we already land directly to school. We have jumped from ministry, education, university, and directly we are in school. This is school now here. If you run your ls here, you will discover that you will see your reports which we created. Okay, you run your ls, you will see your report that you created. So if there is any question, you unmute yourself and then you ask. In the absence of no question, I believe you are going to practice on your spare time so that you can get all of this right and in good shape. All right. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow. Make sure you do your practice. Bye bye.